What's going on, guys? Turbo Cuts, Big Kev, and today we're going to be working on this 21-inch Toro walk behind, commercial grade with a Kohler engine. I believe the carburetor is gone, so I went ahead and ordered one, but in the process, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and check it just to show you how to make sure that it's the carburetor and not your spark plug or filter or something like that, or maybe your fuel filter just stopping you from getting the thing started. So you can take either starter fluid or a little bit of gas, put it in pour it down the carburetor like you just saw me do, and try to fire it up just like you see me trying here. And if it happens to fire up like this one does, runs for a little bit and shuts off, you know it's the carburetor. So let's get busy. So let's get this filter cover off of this thing and go ahead and get started. So let's go ahead and pop that off, get your filter off of there. Change that filter if you haven't as of late. Now let's go ahead and get this filter housing off of there. And the way we're going to do that is there's two bolts holding this filter housing and the carburetor on. So we're going to go ahead and grab our impact wrench and get going on that. But before we do that, we need to get those hoses out of the way so we can go ahead and pull that thing off once we get the nuts out of the way. To get that fuel line off, that bottom line, it has a little butterfly clip that attaches it to the hard line that you want to just use your pliers, peel it back, give yourself some room to work. And then if the hose is tight on the fuel line, just over time, you don't want to use your pliers to pull it back because you don't want to rip it or anything. Just wiggle it a little bit and it'll definitely loosen up. Once you get that line off of there, it still has gas in it, so be careful. Just get it out of the way. Keep it clear so you can go ahead and get to work on other aspects of it. Now we got our impact wrench. Those are 10 millimeter bolts on this particular carburetor, on this model. Now that we have those off and out of the way, let's go ahead and pull off that filter housing. Give it a little once over, make sure it's clear, not clogged up or anything. Now let's go ahead and remove those three cables that's connected to the carburetor. There are two that are going to come right out. All you got to do is turn the lever as you see me doing there and just pop it right out on two of them. And then the third one, you'll see that I have to slide the carburetor off a little bit to make the adjustment because it actually has a hook on it. So it hooks through the eye and it doesn't just pin, it doesn't just click straight in. And just to be clear, it's still one cable piece. It just has a slight bend in it to hook underneath to hold it in place. So you just want to turn that lever, kind of pull and adjust it, and then slide it back toward the front of the machine to get it off. Bingo. And you want to make sure you get those old gaskets out of the way. Your kit should come with new gaskets. If they don't, I guess you can use the old ones, but you definitely want to make sure you can get new gaskets. So as you can see, the old carburetor, the gasket is actually stuck to it. So we're going to replace it. So here's that brand new carburetor that we ordered straight from the manufacturer. There's the part number there. And let's get it put together. So if you order this same carburetor kit, it's going to come with the two new gaskets, and then it's going to come with the new carburetor as well. Everything ready to go. It's simply going to be a plug and play. You're just going to reverse the steps that you've done to take it off, and it's really that easy, guys. It shouldn't take you any more than 20 to 30 minutes to get this done. The shop wanted to keep the mower for 3 weeks and charged me several $100s to do this. I paid $58 for the part. So if you're up to the DIY project, you know, definitely save you some money, save you some time. And if you're as busy as we are, you don't have time for your mower to be in the shop for 3 weeks. So let's get this thing put on. Make sure that fuel line, the fuel hard line is on the bottom. Let's get everything back in place and go ahead and slide that thing on there. But remember, you have to get that first hard line on there with the slight bend in it before you slide the carburetor back onto the bolts. Once you get that in there, just click right in, go ahead and slide it down, and then those other two cables will just pop right back in. Once you get them in securely, just get a slight little tug just to make sure they're in there before you start to put everything back together and test it. So make sure you put your lines back on there. Remember, there's gas still in that line, so make sure you're not smoking any cigarettes or anything or have any flames around it. Don't forget your butterfly clip. Get that back on there. And then your second gasket, get that, slide that right over the bolts. And then you're gonna put your filter apparatus back on there. I got mine cleaned up. I just cleaned it up, put a little bit of brake fluid on it, and then rinsed it before I put it back, just to make sure it has, to clear it of any debris or anything like that that could be stuck in there that I couldn't see. So once again, get your bolts back on, just 10 millimeter. Zip those things back on there. And my preferred method when putting them on is just slightly tighten each side and kind of just go back and forth. I don't want to tighten one all the way down on one side and have the other side a little off balance, or maybe cross thread the other side for whatever reason, just because I tightened the other side too much. So just a little bit of back and forth with it. Get it on there nice and snug. Put your air line back on there. Put your filter back on. Put your filter cover back on. Make sure everything's connected, put back together the right way. Now it's time to test it. Make sure you're not so excited that you forget that you put something underneath and then try to start that thing and cut it all up. So let's give it a tug and see what happens. Fire right up on the first pull. So it was definitely the carburetor. So we'll be right back at it. Now that we got this thing up and running again, we'll go ahead and give it a little bath before we take it back out. Time to get to work in the morning. Thanks for watching.